Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I'm your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Blue Sky on Twitter, and Twitter on Blue Sky, and all of that as Roddykat. You can find me at Newsers Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CB Caps on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And the sound effects you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, 1-800_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings, but today we celebrated in New York City the New York Knicks championship. Down the Canyon of Heroes on Broadway, so we're repping all of New York right now.
New York, the real New York. I'm outside. I don't live in Miami. I don't live in Colorado. Come to my block and see me, my niggas.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Because that's where I'm from.
Yes, congratulations to the New York Knicks sports ball team. Thank goodness we don't have to go through that anymore, and unfortunately, don't have to worry about their baseball team winning anything. Oops!
Oh, shots fired! Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! Oh, oh, all the good feelings. You know what? They're still here for the Knicks. You know, when we're talking about the Metsies, well, you know, we still have the rest of the summer to have some hope because, you know, that's all we got, hope.
Indeed, and for the rest of the week, a week and a half, that people pretend they actually care about soccer. Excuse me, football.
Oh, God.
So yes, we still have that. But nevertheless, folks, this is the Comic Book Chronicles, as I have said, and you can find us on the Cold Silver Podcast Network at cspn.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple, iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Silver Podcast Network SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that definitely helps people find our show.
Indeed. So, folks, we are going to leap some tall buildings in a single bound. I don't know why I thought about that. But anyway, or why I talk about that particular part. But we are definitely going to start off talking about the premiere episode of season 3, My Adventures with Superman, which is called the New World, Into the New World. Excuse me.
Into the New World. Okay. So, I'm going to really skirt across this episode because there are plenty of things we could spoil, right? Because there are a couple of big reveals that obviously they're kind of retconning a little bit of certain character origins, you know, because we're a little bit more intertwined in terms of not just Cadmus, but government, you know, things dealing with clones. That's probably the best way to put it. Clones and versions of Superman, whereas that wasn't always the case with the origins for some of these characters. And, you know, Roddykat put it best, and he reminded me because I completely spaced. Listen, I've been outside. Literally outside, and you know, like my brain's a little sunbaked and I'm a little tired and there's been some day drinking, but I did just need a little bit of prompting to remember what some of this episode was about. And he put it best when he said they were Scooby ganging a little bit. You know, they were doing some Scooby style sleuthing. And you know, I'll hand it off with you know, that prompt to Roddykat.
So yeah, first off, shout out to Vine Gloom, who I was actually going to mention that as well. So yeah, as Agent 70 said, yes, we do get introduced to a version of a Superman character, not in the normal way, because keep in mind, this is a different version. You know, this is not the canon, you know, version of a universe. This is basically a different universe. You might as well go ahead and say, where all of this is taking place. So therefore, things are going to be different as tends to happen. So, and they are also kind of taking a MCU-esque choice in this universe to do a lot of things, because as we saw in the last couple of seasons, things are being developed and whatnot due to the use of Kryptonian technology, as opposed to how they had normally come about in the universe. So we're continuing to see that, and like we both said, you know, this version, the version that shows up of a specific character, you know, is a kind of that. And as Agent 70, as Von Gloom says in the chat, that they didn't go the usual mentally challenged route that we know. Well, technically they did, and we don't know yet. It's more childlike, specifically, but we still actually don't know if that is not a part of that, actually. So
it may not be a final evolution, you know, at least in you know, as far as we know. And I think that, you know, what I was kind of getting at was, you know, everything is being developed with this Kryptonian technology because, you know, ultimately all we have is
a conspiracy. A C-O-N conspiracy.
right. That's what it is, you know, because it's all the government, you know, it's all very much a CON conspiracy.
Right. The government and or government officials, and also people with government contracts.
Right.
And specifically in one case.
Yes.
But yeah, Von Gloom also says he also likes that Redacted is built like Ultimate. Well, I mean, that character always was, though, you know. But Von Gloom says he also likes that Redacted is built like Ultimate Ultimate Batman, and is a big freaking brick. I assume that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, brick. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, don't remember a certain someone getting injured to be a place for Luther to turn him into. I mean, again, that is a place where the tech is kind of coming into place. We probably did see it somewhere along the lines, and it was just kind of a side note. But that also brings up another thing, because so it's, and this is just not necessarily a nitpick on my part, but you know, it has been a while, and I feel like we said that when it was announced that season 3 was coming, it has been a while since season 2, and from what I thought I remembered, and granted, time has passed between probably the episode I'm thinking of and going into this one. So this episode takes place around Halloween specifically, because it says it's right there, and it says it all through the thing. Well, at least Clark mentions it. Also, they also do a James Gunn thing, what he does at the end of the show, where there's like basically not necessarily in credit screen, but a mid credit scene where just some almost outtake type styles, type stuff kind of happens, or a conversation happens, you know, like he did with Peacemaker. Regardless, so I say all that to say that if I remember a specific episode in season 2 where Christmas happened. And I'm sitting here like, so right off the bat, I'm thinking, wait, how did he jump from Christmas back to Halloween on less time play? Because I know their Adventures in Outer Space wasn't that long, or it could have been. Who knows? Or what I'm more like I'm thinking, like that Christmas episode was like way early in the episode before all that happened, and then time still kind of happened. Either way, they're basically wrapping back around to the season to be another Christmas episode again. I'm sure if unless they're gonna bypass it, one to do. So that kind of messed me up. And like I said, you know, if I haven't seen anything out there so far to be like, hey, this is what's happening in season 2, which I'm surprised about that, because normally those Easter egg, you know, sites are all up on that kind of stuff. They did the doggone Spider-Man trailer, for goodness sake, which, you know, we'll get to that in a second, or in a while, and they didn't do that for anything for this one, for reasons we don't know. And the show's been out for a few days, so it's not like, you know, be cutting. And I'm not saying they should, but whatever. I'm sure somebody did, and I probably didn't. So your catch up, but saying whether you need to maybe catch up on season 2 before you get in on this, you could. I mean, it's only 10 episodes and it's short, so you could if you want to. And it's a good show. So, and it continues to be a good show with this episode. Like, this one pretty much is light as far as what they get into, and the crux of the season is being teased out in this. So, it's a good start to the season, put it this way. Even though we already know what's coming. We kind of already know what's coming from the trailers. So, Von Gloom says that he seems noticeably bigger than Clark. I mean, I think that's also been a thing in versions of that character as well. Like a foot taller and brolic. Yeah, he's intelligent enough to bury the dead in the. Yeah, I mean, again, that's not saying that character wasn't anyway. But we just, as far as I know, we have never seen him do it. But that's not saying that he could never do that regardless. So yeah. That's what like I was saying, the full extent of his deal has not been fully put out there just yet. So I'm sure that will bear out as the season goes on. Also, of course, Matt Wayne comes in with Nixon 5.
Nixon 5. What's up, Wang?
What's going on, good sir? I'm glad you're here. As always, glad both of y'all are here and everybody else who's come by. So, because, yeah, some stuff. But, Wang, the man who banished the bad orange juice. Says Von Gloom. That's funny. But anyway, that's pretty much, unless A7, you got anything else on My Adventures with Superman, I think we can put you on.
Oh, just to add that wasn't the only reveal, because the cliffhanger reveal also involved another clone-esque version of Superman.
Mm-hmm. And again, the stuff that's been teased in the trailers leading up to this season, if you've been paying attention to those. If not, then yeah, it'll be a good surprise for you.
Right.
Surprisingly enough. Partying since Saturday. You know what? I'm not surprised by that. Did you go to, or were you even in town, but did you go to the parade?
He was at the parade. He was on end of the he was on one side of the parade. I was on the other. He was on the side closer to where it was easier for him to get to.
Gotcha. Like my boy number 55, Ariel H.
Huck Porty. Ariel Huck Porty. My goodness. Shout out to Mayor Mamdani, who had a great speech today.
Right. So Von Gloom actually brings up something. I'm glad you brought that up, Von Gloom. So yeah, there was another part in the beginning that was just kind of one would argue a throwaway thing it takes place right after they come back from season 2, their adventures in space. And so Kara's with Clark. She goes off to do a thing based off of that. And Clark is left to deal with some other DCEU characters in that universe, because as we saw from the Superman movie, the stewards of the fortress were around. I mean, that's not really a big spoiler, but that's that was the thing that's already been there anyway. So he has to deal with that, which leads to be funny. And yeah, Von Gloom says, I don't trust the fortress robots. And given what happens right around that time, I don't blame you, because I feel like it is definitely leading back to someone coming back into the frame.
Sure. And I also think it's tied into how interwoven the CON conspiracy is, right, with the Kryptonian technology, into the story, how interwoven it all is. Whereas I think in the James Gunn-verse, the James Gunn DCU, EU or DCU, I think it's a little bit more, it's more LexCorp based, like all the advanced tech. It's not, there's nothing really Kryptonian until they break into the Kryptonian stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, because... Yes, you are right, because I feel like there's one part of that absolutely is before that, but it was just stuff that he it was cobbled together from his stuff, but also, You know, it's like, oh yeah, we found this somewhere else, blah 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 blah, or some. So I don't know.
Right.
Regardless, but you're right about that. Von Gloom says that they seem like they are on that Kryptonian conqueror mindset. Not now, but they probably will be after a thing that happens probably later in the season happens. I think if a thing happens that I think is going to, that's probably going to be the case. But I don't think they are necessarily now, but we'll see. Matt says Mayer had the second best speech behind Brunson. Also, Matt says, just wanted to say hello. Wang out. Can't wait for Absolute Hitman.
Peace, Wang. Have a good rest.
Later on, good sir, we'll be in touch with you, especially about something that you may or may not have seen on Twitter already. But because this is almost about that time. So yeah, so that's my adventures with Superman season 3, episode 1. Next episode will be the Saturday and Sunday. It depends on how you're watching it, you know. So we will be talking about that next week. Yeah. That being said, we are going to get over into the books of the week, starting off with, actually speaking of absolute stuff, Absolute Green Arrow number 2 of 6.
Alrighty, Absolute Green Arrow number 2 of 6 is written by Pornsak Pinchetzot, with art by Rafael Albuquerque, colors by Marcelo Maiolo, and letters on this book are by Jeff Powell. So the mystery here deepens as Dinah is investigating, you know, what's happening to all of these former associates of the Absolute Oliver Queen. And I don't know if we're getting red herrings or if we're getting some interesting directions for the ultimate reveal of who is, you know, of what's going on here. So I think the mystery that Pornsak Pinchetzot is developing is unfolding pretty well. I think I you know, he got me a couple of times. I was like, this is where it's going to go, and it wasn't exactly playing out where I thought it would. So, you know, kudos to him. What did you think about this, Roddykat?
Yeah, I agree with you. And as I feel like, especially at the beginning of this, where there was a dream sequence that we don't know as a dream sequence at the start of it, where it was like, ha, y'all thought, ended up not being the case. So I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's still not, but it also just basically, it takes your mind away from that because of what happens in there. It's like, well, clearly, since he put this here, that can't possibly be the case. Still could be, but that's, you know, not. But yeah, I do love the way that the story is unfolding. We, you know, the one answer that we would want in this has not been answered yet, and probably won't be until probably another episode, issue or 2, because there's only 6 issues of this. Or maybe they just won't do it at all. I doubt that's going to be the case. You know, so all bets are still on, and it's, you know, the folks that you know, they go to interview. I feel like the folks that they go to interview and go to find out stuff are still, well, at least a couple are still kind of in the running, but at the same time, like, they're basically doing this as like, no, we're just, you know, we're just trying to make sure it's not this and it's not this person and what not the case may be. So, you know, whoever it ends up being under the mask, I hope it ends up still being a you know, a good enough reveal, because pretty much most of the people you think that are associated having either as a side character or having the mantle of Green Arrow has been almost checked off. Put it this way, there's probably at least 1 or 2 other people, you know, that hasn't just yet, but they've been pretty much going through and starting to go through the numbers, including who they will try to talk to next issue, going forward. But yeah, there's also a little bit of real world rhetoric because because there was a section in this where Dinah and one Mia Durden, if you know that name, you know, good on you.
I don't.
So I believe she was Speedy. She was basically a Robin, not necessarily a Robin, but she was a Green Arrow Robin, so she was like Speedy or whoever, you know.
Gotcha.
In the Prime universe, and
in the comics, okay.
Yes,
So
in
she
the
is a
comics.
pre-existing DC character. Okay.
Yes.
I was worried that this was like an Arrowverse character that's crossed over into Absolute Green Arrow.
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Yeah. That well,
I mean,
not that I know.
I
of,
literally just read this. Right, I literally just read this before the show, so I didn't really have a chance to. I didn't have time to really delve into any research. I just when I was reading the book and I saw a name I was unfamiliar with, I just had to file that away as I'm not sure who this is. So
right. I had seen that name before, especially in coming up with Green Arrow related stuff. That's why that's the only reason why I know it. And as a matter of fact, I feel like that name has come up in the past year or two. I might be wrong about that part, but
right. I freely confess that Green Arrow is definitely a blind spot for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, our DC knowledge, goes from spotty at best to, fairly decent in certain spots. Put it that way.
Sure. Like New Teen Titans. I know New Teen Titans, at least the Wolfman Perez years, like the back of my hand. After that, pfft.
Right. And with all the crises and whatnot, things have changed.
Right.
And yada, yada, yada. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. There's people come up and people go. So that being the case, though, so yeah, that was Absolute Green Arrow number 2 of 6. And like I said, not wanting to spoil too much of anything, but Dinah's out there trying to put the pieces together and trying to figure out some stuff, but also asking some questions of her own about some things that happened. Not fully the thing that happened at the end of the first issue. I guess she'll get back to that though. But she kind of started off down that road, but still hadn't thrown that into the mix. So, and she's out there, with another Arrow adjacent that character I thought was an Arrowverse. Which still could be very much, but I think that the character that she's running around with may have predated the Arrowverse. It was just one that I had not heard of before the Arrowverse type situation. So don't know, but I still associate that character with the Arrowverse because Absolute Green Arrow number 2 of 6 still pretty good. We're going to move on to the next book, and actually the last book that we have in common, which is G.I. Joe number 23.
G.I. Joe number 23 is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Andrea Milana. Colors are by Lee Luffridge and letters are by Russ Wooten. So I had to read both G.I. Joe 22 and 23 tonight, and I'm still rather confused as to why we're using Crystal Ball as a way to discuss and discover the origin story for Risk, the character who is newly introduced in this volume of G.I. Joe. It's a little weird, but it's definitely in the vein of some of the wackier television cartoon episodes that we got as well. So it's not completely out of the realm of G.I. Joe storytelling, right? It's just not, but it's definitely wacky, and I think Roddykat will agree with me on that point. But let's hear what he has to say on it.
I mean, it's definitely a deep cut in a way, because I could safely say that for Agent 70 and I, as far as the book wise, the Marvel Comics book, I actually went looking before the show. But I couldn't remember when this character actually came in on anywhere in the books, and it was probably more likely after both of us left reading the book, if that happened. So because we know we got a figure, and we know the tech behind him also has a figure, so that came there's some ground there somewhere. But regardless, I thought it was actually kind of interesting that they used this to get a little bit of backstory on Risk, because it's not like, I mean, yes, nobody really asked for it at this point. We knew he had one, So, and I'm assuming they're setting that up for reasons, especially with some info that came out during the course of this. You would think the wrong person, but hey, in the situation that they were in, it is what it is. So, stop me if you've heard this one. G.I. Joe and Cobra pretty much get sent to do the same thing by different people, and they end up having to either work together temporarily because of the situation going on with them, as in the case of Destro and Baroness in one part of this book, which, apparently Destro's a fan. Which some would argue, hey, maybe they're starting off that thing that we already know them from with this.
Right.
Because that seems like that's likely.
That was the vibe I was getting. I hate to use the terminology of the kids nowadays, but listen, we used vibe back in the day also.
Yep. Indeed. So we feel like that's kind of that the fires of that's kind of stoked out there because, they are pretty much in the teaming up. Like I said, we get the backstory on Risk. We get him kind of sort of teaming up with a Cobra baddie, Mercer, after them, squabbling for a little bit because of course the things happen, and Crystal Ball's in the picture. So that's really realistically all. And just like with just like what we just said about My Adventures with Superman, in this universe, as folks may or may not know, things are surrounded by Energon. So things are Energon based or coming up from Energon. Again, if you saw the Energon special from this week, from Free Comic Book Day, you learned about a specific person who's who presumably had a natural gift, also had their talents accented by Energon. But regardless, this is the Energon universe as we are in it. So, and it makes sense in this situation because we don't know what the heck Diatech was in the first place. or how it came about. I mean, they could have just said Dr. Mindbuilder did it, and we'll be like, okay, but they need to ground it in this universe some kind of way. So therein lies that. And we are going to get into, because this is 23, and we're going to get into the big issue 25 and a couple of issues where that's what I'm actually really looking forward to, because a couple of groups are about to meet, presumably for the first time. And we're just using these next couple of issues to kind of get to that point. So
yeah, Von Gloom has a point that I was thinking about, but at the same time, and you can address that, Roddykat. But
absolutely. Absolutely. So this has been a thing that that we've been thinking about since she's been with the Joe. So this is not unusual. And yeah, this might be the start of that, because Von Gloom says, I'm afraid that the Baroness's days as a Joe aren't going to be long. Yeah. I mean, again,
right.
Classically, we know her from being a Cobra figure. We figure that's going to end up happening. We're surprised that she's been with the Joe this long. So what were you going to say?
But at the same time, right, we also have maybe been introduced to the one character who is noticeably absent from this G.I. Joe version, this version of the G.I. Joe team. And we may have been introduced to this character on the sly, but that may be how we kind of balance it out by keeping the Baroness unexpectedly on the Joe team for a very long time. So that's just my conjecture. So
it's possible. Anything, like I said, it's in this universe, anything's kind of up in the air. So yeah, and yes, if I'm thinking about the character that you're thinking about, yeah, we've kind of sort of touched on that a couple of issues back. So yeah, definitely that it could very much be the case. Now, I mean, it could still stand that even if that character kind of comes into play as we classically know them as, Baroness could still stay on the team for whatever odd reason until she's, finally swayed by Destro's advances. And as Von Gloom says, Destro is quite irresistible to the ladies with his Sean Connery swagger and metal dome. Yes, and don't forget the metal chest plate.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually
the exposed chest.
Yeah, the exposed chest.
The exposed chest. The gold chain.
Right.
Right. So
So
You know.
yeah, I mean that is a thought, that is a theory. I mean, it could still stand to reason, Von Gloom. So yeah, we don't know if was actually how it's supposed to play out. That is a theory that Agent 70 has, and I've also had that as well. So you know that is in passing. It doesn't necessarily have to be that case, but it makes sense if that is the case. It makes a certain amount of sense if that is the case. Put it that way. Again, because let's face it, if we go by Transformers rules, there's been a good bit of the book where they've been kind of sort of outnumbered. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to like 1-to-1 balance out things. And Mask is around also, but they're doing their own thing at this point. So we don't think they're gonna come. We don't know how they're gonna come into play if and or when they come into play. You know, on G.I. Joe. There's probably going to be another crossover happening at some point, and all 3 of them are going to come together. All 4 of them, excuse me. 5 of them when that other new book comes into play, I guess. We'll see. Hopefully they'll do it better than that other shared universe did. But yes, Destro is a pimp and an arms dealer. So sometimes the two are the same. Depends on who you're talking to. But yeah, that was G.I. Joe number 23. Crystal Ball, y'all. I mean, granted, we had, Roadhog or Road Pig, whatever his name was at that other time. And that was also another cut. So they're not shy about throwing in deep cuts on this universe, playing with things. I kind of love it for that, though, because it's like, the heck is going on here? Why this person? But at the same time, you know what? Go for it. Do your thing. I'm here for it. That being the case, though, that is it for the books that we have in common. Rapid fire.
All righty, folks. Rapid fire review time. Here we go. All righty.
I ain't got time to bleed.
All right, leading off, I've got a rapid fire review for a somewhat reduced number of books because, like I said, today I was outside. So I didn't have that much time to read books. First off is Absolute Batman number 21. It's written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta. My typing is terrible on this because I put a letter at the end of his name, which made it look very unfamiliar, and my pronunciation completely spaced on a name that I'm very familiar with. Nick Dragotta is the artist on this book, with colors by Frank Martin and letters are by Tom Napolitano. So we have an interesting interaction, right? Because this is what we left on a cliffhanger at the end of last issue, the introduction of the absolute versions of Robin. And we find out that there are some ramifications to what has happened as a result of their confrontation with Batman, the Absolute Batman. The identities of the Robins are known to us, obviously, but they are very true to form in terms of their characterization in both the DCU as well as the Absolute Universe. Interestingly, and I think importantly, is that the best part, I think, about this Absolute Batman version of his Rogues Gallery, right? We get to see how the Rogues Gallery may be going down the path that we're familiar with, but may find themselves fighting against the nature that we're accustomed to seeing. That it's not a true nature, it's not their true nature, but it's the nature that we're accustomed to seeing. We don't know if they're ultimately going to be successful in fighting that nature, but we'll see where that goes from here. Next up for me is Amazing Spider-Man number 31. It's written by Joe Kelly with art by Patrick Gleason, colors by Marcio Moniz, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, are the hardest working letterer over at Virtual Calligraphy. So we're following up with a talk. It's not the talk, but it's a talk about an interesting character who is being retconned into the Parker family history. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's an interesting retcon for these characters, you know, all as a whole. And if you read it and uh, kind of appreciate a lot of the real world uh, drama that surrounds the building of families, and that's the kindest, most general way I can put it without completely spoiling it. Um, you know, there's a lot that goes into building a family, and you know, this exploration of it, this you know, the story being framed around it, I think is pretty strong. I give you know, Joe Kelly some credit with that, you know, for that. I have not been a fan of this run. I'm kind of sticking with this section of Amazing Spider-Man as it's ramping up to issue 1000. So, you know, I'm kind of just curious at this point to see what happens or how they end up leading into Amazing 1000, number 1000. Last but not least for me is Uncanny X-Men number 30. It's written by Gail Simone with art by Roger Antonio. Colors are by Matthew Wilson and letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles. This is an interesting start to a new story arc where what's best about Gail Simone's Uncanny run so far is that each arc seems to be building steadily on the last or previous arcs, and you know, we're seeing you know, elements of growth for all of these characters, specifically the younger characters, these new the burgeoning new mutants that are sticking with this Louisiana X-Men team. And what we're getting is you know, some really great moments with them. When it comes to what's depicted on the cover, I feel like I'm quoting Billy Joel when I say, "You may be right, you may be crazy," right? And or I may be crazy. So I'm literally quoting him because I'm wondering if what's depicted on the cover is actually what's happening in the issue, or if we're going to find out more in the next issue. So ultimately, you know, stick with it and we'll see where it goes. I think Simone's X-Men is still the stronger of the two X-Men books, stronger than I misspoke earlier when I was talking to Roddykat about this. Stronger than uh goodness, who's the writer? Jed McKay.
Jed McKay. Yeah.
Stronger than Jed McKay's X-Men run right now. And that's it for me.
I saw this cover for Uncanny. I was like, it says Mars needs mutant for those not watching the video version. And I'm just like, we already had that. It's called a Rocco. We don't have it anymore. Damn it, don't tease us like that. But I know it's not the same. They're not thinking about it the same way as they did during the Krakoa era.
So I'm not 100% sure if what's happening in this issue is exactly what's being depicted on the cover, but we'll see.
There's no one going back. I guess not. Okay, because I feel like you would have called that out. Those of y'all who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. Von Gloom says, I want the main, going back to Absolute Batman, I want the main universe Joker to meet his absolute variant. And I said, yeah, I would put money on that probably happening in the crossover, or if not a crossover, probably the crossover more likely. But yeah, that's coming up. Jack Grimm damn near won in this. Hopefully that's not a spoiler. If he wasn't in such a playful mood, which yeah, I hate how Bane robbed him of his friend group. So yeah, Also, just wanted to see the main Joker's reaction. You know, I feel like he's gonna be like, it's gonna be the Spider-Man meme first off, and they both just cackle.
Yeah,
that's just me. You know, what just happened? Oh, I did that. Okay, sorry, folks. But yeah, so that's that. But for my books, buckle up, folks. Got a couple. First off, starting off with Mum-Ra, the ever living, number 3 of 5. I'm sure there's a nice little soundbite back there for the auto version. But it's written by Declan Shalvey, art by Rafa Lobasco, colors by Rashawn Curitiano, and letters by Jeff Eckelberry. So before I get into this, just wanted to mention the fact that just on a whim, there we go. Just on a whim, last night, I watched the first like 5 or 6 episodes of Thundercats.
Nice.
And 2 things I realized when I was watching it. One, I didn't realize at first. One, episode 2 apparently has an audio glitch where you can't hear. There's no background music. And apparently that's a carryover from either a DVD thing or transferring to streaming or something. Because I looked it up, it's like, why is there no background audio in this? And a show like that without background audio just sounds weird and creepy. Honestly, it was like there should be some music back here somewhere during all of this, and there wasn't. So, and it's only for, as far as I know, it's only for episode 2. So if you run across that in your own perusals of it, then yeah, that's weird. And also the second thing really quickly is that, there's a couple of things in that show that they actually brought into over there. Not surprisingly, but stuff that you wouldn't have thought of. That potentially, like little things that's been brought into this universe version of the Thundercats. Which no surprise, because they're taken from that. They're taken from that 2011 show. They're taken from other sources. But it was just like weird to kind of just see. I was like, oh right, so that's where kind of they kind of got part of that from. So, and that leads into this with Mum-Ra, because part of it was like, so we know Mum-Ra as a character, and this is his origin story here, if you did not know. The last couple of issues kind of bore that out and how he got into Third Earth. And this is him on Third Earth. In the beginnings, let's just say we see the formation of a certain, not necessarily friendship, but it kind of sort of pretty much answers the question that we had in the Thundercats book about how a couple of characters knew each other, because he meets that character and a couple of other previously seen Thundarians, let's just say, in this particular issue. And they also, weirdly enough, let's just say, help form some things that shaped Mum-Ra into who he is for a reason. And of course, the Golem still continues to come up, and that plays a part in this as well. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into it and get too spoilery of it, just in case Agent 7 or anybody else is going to read this. But the Mum-Ra
Eventually.
Huh?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, the Mum-Ra you know and love pretty much kind of comes out, comes to the front in this particular issue. Not surprising, like I said, this is the 3rd issue of 5. So, and there's some connecting of the dots that had been asking questions about again of this, and leading to something that has actually popped up in recent Thundercats book with a couple other things. So we're basically, it looks like we might be bringing this back to the present again. I'm not entirely sure. Von Gloom asks Mum-Ra, and yes, no, not necessarily. They were cordial, put it this way. They were definitely of a friend like. And I will say that the Thundarians were a little bit too trusting about some information that they just happened to dole out. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You can read the issue for yourself and how that plays into the issue at large, while I try to fix yeah, I think Agent 70's camera stuck on my end, so I'm gonna have to fix that in a second. But the next book for me is Thundarr The Barbarian, number 5. Written by Jason Aaron, art by Cooper Ball, colors by George Sotillo, and letters by Taylor Esposito. There we go. So in this particular issue, yep, that absolutely did it. Yay. So yeah, in this particular issue, there's still some time shenanigans going on, because if you've been keeping up with the book, or if you haven't, the Wizards in Thundarr universe, of which that have shown up in the show, if you've watched a good amount of the show, plotted to get rid of Thundarr and reshape the Earth. So they basically went back to, as I keep saying, the beginning of the show. The theme of, you go to an episode of Thundarr and you get, hey, here's what happened. Like Earth and the Moon happened, and destruction, all that kind of stuff. They basically went back to that era to start hatching their plans, and which caused the group Thundarr, Ariel, and Ugla to also go back. But also we've seen flashes of Thundarr's past before, or excuse me, not even before, but yes, before he became the known figure that he was. In other words, when he was still a slave. So we have been seeing in that. And in the last issue, we saw how he basically broke the chains, or a version of how he did that, leading to him starting to become Thundarr the Barbarian, as had been known. In this particular issue, we see their first mission, quote unquote, after that fact, but it also has to do with the stuff that's going on in the past, and there's some timey-wimey stuff going on, of which I won't get into. And let's just say, if I use the words so-and-so doesn't feel so good kind of thing happens.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that.
Oh yes. Yep, there you go. That kind of happens in this issue. Which leads to some, a character talking to themselves at the end of this issue. But it's been a good read so far, and I think I needed to check, but it's, from what I saw after the last page, the next issue after this, it may possibly be the last issue of the book.
Oh.
I'm not entirely sure, and I don't recall seeing any solicits for anything after this. I could also be wrong, but they basically, so it's either going to be the end of the arc or the end of the book all the way.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is, because the book was actually pretty good. Now, to be fair, it's Jason Aaron, so that could have been what that could have been the plan all along. We don't know, but and I say that because, I say that in a similar manner as, his tenure on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that it may or may not be the same situation. Like, it could very well be that's what he had, and boom, he told the story, now he's out, and that's that. Or, like I said, I'm not entirely sure, but it feels like it's setting up the fact that it's going to be the last issue of the book. We shall find out, though. Next up, because I'm actually taking way too long with this stuff. Imperial Guardians, number 4. Speaking of another book that's probably about to end. There we go. Written by Dan Abnett, pencils by Eduardo Pansica, inks by Jay Leiston and Lorenzo Ruggiero, colors Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So, another day, another mission for the team. They find themselves, as I say in my notes, they find themselves in the setup for an Aliens movie. Cosmic Ghost Riser kind of digs into Dark Ark just a little bit. Reads them a little bit, not necessarily digs into them, but apparently, because of what I just said about them going into the setup for this mission, especially after the Maximus brief. One, the team has a bunch of questions, and two, they're in basically a situation where a supernatural or aliens type situation could very well happen, with a cult that they're going after, that Maximus sent them after in this particular issue. And at the end of this, we come to find out that well, actually, the once again, the mission went a certain way, and I won't go into all of that. But at the end of it, they get sent on another mission by Maximus, which will involve a Marvel UK import, and looks like another set of cosmic folks that may or may not have the same mission that they do, that they think they're on. Put it that way. So I saw the last page and saw who shows up. I'm like, that's funny. That is quite funny. Yes. But anyway, that is all you need to know about that one, unless you're interested in checking that book out, and you should, because that's not a bad book. Next up, Sorcerer Supreme #7, written by Steve Orlando, art by Francesco Moritano. I think I might have.
No, it's Mortallino.
Mortallino. Okay, so that was
yeah.
So I do have a typo there.
I was about to say unless that's misspelled, but yeah, that's.
I think I misspelled it. Yeah, I might have partially misspelled it. Color artist Ruth Redmond, and letters by VC's Joe Sabino. So Wanda's in London because this big orb of something is swallowing up things whole. What we come to find out is that apparently the quantum realm has a Sorcerer Supreme, and she makes said character in this issue. If you're watching the video version, you can see said character on the cover, and they don't quite hit it off like that, like the cover suggests, but it's getting close. It feels kind of close for some of the, for what it feels like in that situation. So, gotcha. And they two try to battle against.
I fixed the typo, so you can see the correct name.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
You could say it. It's Francesco Mortallino.
Yeah, sure. I got it. Yeah, I am past that. But there is that.
But we should be. We're.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Like I'm just like whatever. Yeah. But no, I'm just yeah. You've said it already, so I don't need to repeat it. But yeah, like I said, they hit it off. They battle this thing. We find out. Like I said, we find out the quantum realm has a Sorcerer Supreme, and we also find out quite possibly what might be behind things, if not who. But let's just say a big Kirby-esque magic spaceship comes up at the end, and that's kind of gotten Wanda a little bit worried because there's more to the situation than meets the eye, or the meets the trouble that they had trying to deal with the what they were dealing with. Also, we're going to find out, and I will spoil this part. Apparently, her and Carol go shooting. Doesn't necessarily describe what kind of shooting, but that is brought up in this for some reason. And that is that. And last but not least for me is Deadly Hands of Kunlun #5 of 5. Now I'm going to ask Agent 70 a very specific question. And that question is, how much of this do you want to know about?
It's okay to spoil. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to read it because I am, I think, 2 issues behind, because I believe I read 3. So 4 and 5 are still unknown to me, so you can spoil it. It's okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to definitely talk about the last couple of issues in this, because I, like Agent 70, was a couple of issues behind, but I ended up reading them before I read this. So that being said, a couple of issues ago, I believe issues 3, Arrow comes into play. Also Karnak from the Inhumans, because I totally forgot that Arrow was an Inhuman. So they come into play. We find out who possibly set in motion Lin Lai becoming the Iron Fist by way of that that White Fox one shot that happened, that started this whole that whole thing off. Let's just say that the Danny Rand part of this kind of comes back into play, as well as the couple of presumed dead immortal weapons which have now ascended. Lindley needs a hand because he lost his. But that doesn't stop him, because the last couple of issues, and specifically 4, ends up playing out like 4 or 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. And I mean that quite accurately, because One, he loses his hand. Two, he pretty much he with the help of other chi users conjures up basically a spirit bomb, and not really a spirit bomb, but basically uses that to power him up as in a Kaioken, aka Super Saiyan type style. And he ends up battling the Chinese god of war Chi Yu, who is in possession of his brother. Like it's fat, and even ending up almost like how that episode of that fight with Raditz went. It pretty much went that way. I'm not joking. Like like a couple of things slightly different about it, but it absolutely played out like that. And I see. Oh, actually, I forgot to give the credits for the creative team for this. So it was written by Yifan Jiang, art by Paco Medina and Alessandro Miracolo, color artist CC De La Cruz, and VC's Travis Lanham did the art. Did the lettering, excuse me. So, like I said, that's everything I was just still saying because they were on all the thing the whole time. So yeah, he powers up, but like he's Goku, and they really they really were basically making Lin Lai, this like, oh wait, he's a more powerful Iron Fist than I was because of things X, Y, and Z. But all of that, and also we in this particular issue we get a probably previously unknown little wrinkle to White Tiger, who has also been in this book. As well as Electro Nacho's Daredevil, who's also been in this book. But we get a new wrinkle to the lore of the Tiger God medallion that she wears, and they're tying that to Kunlun in this, as we find out in this. And at the end of this issue, we find out that they did something with Lin Lai to kind of officialize him a little bit, but also put something back in the box in a kind of a way. I will let you read for yourself to see what that was. But yeah, and also there's a new Immortal War Fist, as they said, who ends up continues to be tied to Lin Lai. Coming out of this, so that person might come back, and Loki's been around, by the way. So there's a little bit of moving parts in this, and I'm pretty sure some of that is going to come back into play at some point. But we shall see when and or if that happens. And that's it for me. Kliqs of the week.
All righty, Kliqs of the week.
We didn't ring the spoiler bell. We haven't rung the spoiler bell in a minute, but that's okay. Hopefully people bowed out.
We're doing our best to not spoil anything, but yeah.
Well, exactly, that too, but still, just in case some things happened, but I did ask Age of 70. That was the only one I was kind of, because I don't think that many people are actually reading this book, That maybe what I said may have.
I'm just not a big fan of the Lin Lai character.
And
so
same,
I may just be hate reading this at this point, just to finish reading it and say, all right, so this is where the character is now.
I'm not sure if you're going to like what they do with him, but I'm like, what?
Of course, they want to make him more appealing. I know this is what's going to happen.
They've definitely been doing that. Yeah, they definitely did that, especially with that last issue. I'm like, really?
Yeah, they're going to try. So I get it. So, all right, here we go. Kliqs of the week.
Mm-hmm. Wait, did you do sound effect already, or?
I did. I'll play it again.
So what's your potentials, sir?
I think my potentials are the two Absolute books that I read this week: Absolute Batman 21 and Absolute Green Arrow #2 of 6. And Uncanny X-Men #30 coming in a close second, because I think the two Absolutes are going to be duking it out for my Kliq of the week this week. How about you?
For myself, weirdly enough, Mumra, the Ever Living #3 of 5. There's that. Absolute Green Arrow also. Yeah, definitely is in there. I kind of like even though there's some timey-wimey business going on in Thundarr. Yeah, that might be in there, but probably is not as strong as those other two. And also, what I forgot to mention for Sorcerer Supreme, there is absolutely a lot of mumbo jumbo in that magic mumbo jumbo talk in that book, but that's not in the running. No, I'm not even gonna give it to Deadly Hands because the part I would give it for was last issue and not this particular one. So I think we'll just leave it at those. Yeah, Joe, I did. You know what? Good hustle trying to use Crystal Ball.
Trying to make Crystal Ball relevant. I get it.
Like good hustle on that one. So, but those are pretty much the three, I guess. Imperial Gardens is also was fun, but yeah, that's probably not going to do it. So Mumra, Absolute Green Arrow, and G.I. Joe.
I'm gonna go with Absolute Green Arrow over Absolute Batman, but by a hair.
Fair. That's it. It's a good book. They're doing something a little bit different. They're trying to keep us on our toes. With who it might be, because like I said, that's the one big question that folks have, but not the only one.
Right.
Going into this, even though that's probably the main one. So, for myself, this might be one of those situations because I almost doesn't feel like that it rates, but this is almost one of those, hey, I'm going to pick this other one because the one I would probably pick has already been picked. Situation, as we have seen in the past few weeks.
It happens.
But yeah, definitely shout out to Thundarr the Barbarian. But if it was going to be that, it was probably going to be that Mumra book. But as I'm thinking about it, I don't know. Like I said, I found interest in what was going on there because it finally answered a question or two. Actually, and more than what I just said, because there's a couple other questions that we have, like why are the Thundarians? Why do people don't like the Thundarians on Third Earth? We might have got a hint as to why that is in this issue as well. So, yeah, all right, I'm going ahead and do the thing so we can keep it pushing. Yeah, Mumra is going to be Mumra the Ever-Living number 3 of 5 is going to be my Kliq, and we also have Absolute Green Arrow for Agent 70's Kliq. And with that, we are going to go into the news section, but first, an ad read.
Our first ad read for this episode is Blue Apron's Meal Delivery Service. That's for Blue Apron's Meal Delivery Service. Blue Apron, fresh ingredients and incredible recipes delivered weekly to your door. Skip the grocery store and make incredible meals at home with Blue Apron. Always shipped free right to your home. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can get $30 off your first Blue Apron order. To place your first order with $30 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us, that's cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Blue Apron link and sign up for your first order. Blue Apron through cspn.us. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
So before we get into the cinematic news, I just want to point people's attentions to the clickbait section of the show where, there's a couple of things in there that might be of interest to some folks. And so I would especially want Agent 70 to check out the first item, which is basically the Gem and the Holograms theme with the Cold Slither Band. So a matchup between those two. And anybody else, who wants to check that out should. Definitely that. And also, I didn't watch all of this, but the Black Comic Lords went to Heroes Con, which I may have mentioned to Edge 70 before the show, that Heroes Con that happened this past weekend, and we're getting some news out of. But the Black Comic Lords was at Heroes Con, and they talk about that and a bunch of other things. I've not watched their stuff too many times, but that one's starts off kind of amusing. I was happy that I can safely say that it sounds like they enjoyed their time at Heroes Common. I kind of wish I was there because I miss going, but therein lies that. Hopefully I'll get back to go there one of these days. But regardless, we're going to get into the cinematic news as we do about the time with, oh no, shoot. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I now have to do something that I thought I had done already. So my apologies, folks. I don't know how that happened, but we'll just do this live. Jason Momoa finally addresses the Wonder Woman mystery about Adrian Arjona. Why are they talking to him and not her? Don't know. But hey, in an interview with Screen Rant's Ash Crossan, which is just a Screen Rant article, so there you go. For the upcoming Supergirl movie, Jason Momoa, who is playing Lobo, of course, is asked about the future DCU characters he thinks he's vibe with the most, or want them to join the alien bounty hunter at the bar. So, of course, Jason Momoa also played Aquaman previously, so therein lies that. But he basically brought up Wonder Woman, and that's, people are still hoping and thinking that Adria Arjona might get that part. Actually, he says here, Wonder Woman would be just great. I'm rooting for my girl Adria. I just got to say. He also says she's hot. Screen Rant says she's hot, and Jason Momoa again says she's hot. So that's some sort of an endorsement, but not the one you would probably want. So yeah. Also, let's see, when the Hawk Girl was brought up as a suggestion, Momoa loved the suggestion, bringing up how he and Isabella Merced, who is back for the Man of Tomorrow movie, have worked together before. Quotes, oh yeah, it'd be fun. I like Hawk Girl. I mean, and Isabella Merced played my daughter in a movie. So yeah, therein lies that. So I guess they have prior experience with each other. So, and he says, yeah, so I mean, obviously, yeah, I'd love to, but just because we're actors. That was his end quote of that. So again, he doesn't really know, a whole lot about what's going on as far as we know. But hey, you know what? A lot of people want Adria Arjona as Wonder Woman. I would be one of those people. I ain't mad at it, honestly. Von Gloom says, to answer that question, I believe yes. Yasmin may be the first Pinay Filipina character in Street Fighter history. I don't have any news on that, but yes, that is a thing that has come out because that character was announced today. So yeah, I believe that might be the case. Next up, though,
Spider-Man brand new day trailer and movie tickets went live. You can watch the latest trailer for Spider-Man brand new day and grab tickets for the movie releasing exclusively in theaters July 31st, 2026. So did you watch this trailer?
I did.
It's very revealing, but at the same time still not revealing a lot. That's what I think is the strong point for this trailer, because to a certain extent we don't know what the big conflict of this movie is, so we'll see where that goes, but we kind of have an idea,
right? And
the bottom line is it's coming up. It's a month and a half away.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I was like, you know what, I have my theory or two about some of the things that happened in that thing, and I watched a theory thing, and I didn't, the Easter egg video for that. I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with one or two parts of that, but I can also see where this other thing could happen. Von Gloom says, seems like Ned might break bad through his obsession. Yeah, I don't know if I didn't see where that kind of comes into play, but I guess you can skip from A to B in a certain way from that. I don't know. I feel like that would be a slight leap at this point in time anyway for that, but we'll see. And matter of fact, there's more news on that later in the news section. But next up, we've talked about this before, but say goodbye to a major streaming service as Disney quietly announces phase out. So basically, this is the whole Disney swallowing up Hulu situation. Again, we've talked about this before, that's a thing that's probably going to happen slowly throughout the course of the year. So they're just kind of updating folks on how that's going on with this article. They mentioned that there's a Disney Plus Hulu bundles that's going on, and the fact that Disney Plus is adding more Hulu features to the site, which is also kind of funny given a thing that I did. But
I mean, listen, they're gonna wait until people need to watch The Bear before they make it so that you don't have to pay for 2 streaming services and just have to pay for Disney. So yeah, they're gonna milk that, for all it's worth, because that last season of The Bear is about to drop.
You have more faith in that than I do, but you are absolutely onto something with that as well. So, because it's like The Bear and a couple other things being like, you know what, there's stuff that's on Disney Plus that is not on. Excuse me, there's stuff on Hulu that's not on Disney Plus that they're like, for some weird reason, holding off on. Well, not even weird reason, but for reasons they're holding off on. And the fact that they even started being like, hey, you know what? If you unlock this on Disney Plus, you can watch through Hulu, through us, your Hulu stuff. So it's weird. But it also looks like this article says that the plans to phase out Hulu has paused for now. Which, from what I remember last time we talked about it, I think it was going to be a slow rollout, like by next year or something, or by the end of this year. That it was probably the shoe was gonna drop on that one. Bon Gloom says they better lighten my bill. Yeah, don't count on that one, there, pal. Don't count on that one. They're making it with the Hulu being swallowed up. They're making a strong case to pretty much raise prices on that one, because those two together are a better combination than, say, a Apple TV Peacock, let's just say, for hypothetical senses, But anyway, that's it. That's things still happening, and for whatever odd reason that has been paused, then it's paused, but they're still slowly swallowing it up. So just know that is happening. Next up,
Alrighty. Black Diamond is getting a film with Ernest Dickerson to direct. Okay. Black Diamond, a horror comic by Brendan Columbus, Danilo Bayruth, and Lee Luffridge, is in development as a feature reported by Variety. So director Ernest Dickerson of The Walking Dead, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, and Bones is set to helm, with Brendan Columbus penning the script. Fangoria Studios and Panic Studios, the comics publisher, are behind the project, with Panic's Chris Longo and Adam Schlagman set to produce, alongside Fangoria's Tara Ansley, Abby Gohl, and Armin Agayan. The story sounds pretty chilling, as reported by Variety. I think I've met the publisher for Panic.
Yeah,
at New York Comic Con. She's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's Chris Longo. I think, but I had her card here. But I met her through, at a party held by our very a friend of the show, at Matt Wang 97.
I saw that part coming. I was like, and I knew where you met him from, and there it is. Yep. So again, no surprise.
I was gonna say it's not. Apparently, it's not. I guess Chris Longo.
Okay.
But because it looks like Chris Longo's a dude on X, but that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but if the name Ernest Dickerson may or may not ring a bell to some folks.
Oh, I meant the COO, not the CEO.
Okay. Either way,
that one letter, right?
Right.
That one letter makes a big difference.
Right. So okay. So sweet. As I sit here and gather some more news for next week. So if you see our faces pop out the screen, don't worry about it. But yeah, like I said, if the name Ernest Dickerson may be striking a chord with you outside of the stuff that Agent 70 has mentioned, you may remember him from his resume working with Spike Lee on his various projects. I believe he was the director of photography. Or yeah. So he's worked on Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and other stuff for Spike Lee, as his article mentions. So it's like, as soon as I saw that name, I was like, oh, I didn't know he was still around doing stuff. So good on him for, for still being around doing stuff. But cool. Von Gloom says, when you said Black Diamond, I thought about the Wakandan Emma Frost clone. That's funny.
Oh no.
But next up, sad news. Uh-oh. Come on, find it. Wait, what happened? Oh, God doggone it. Okay. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties on my end. Actually, probably misclicks on my end. I don't know what's going on here, but giving myself more work. Davey, I assume that's how you pronounce that name. I apologize if that's not it. Davey Chase, Lilo's basically the person that voiced Lilo, voiced Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, and also was the Ring villain. Has passed away at 35. Let's see. She died Tuesday in Los Angeles. Like I said, she was 35. Her boyfriend told TMZ, broke the news. She died from meningitis and an infection in her blood. After being hospitalized in LA for malnutrition earlier this month. So, yeah,
that sounds awful.
Yeah, that's real bad. Her father also confirmed the death to New York Times. Apparently, it's saying, according to this article, saying that she had been homeless and living in Los Angeles with her boyfriend. Yeah, and been struggling with drugs since age of 13. So that is real sad news to hear about that. Condolences to the family and all that.
That's awful.
That. Yeah. But hate to do it, but next up.
I was about to say, man, that
Yeah, that's real sucky.
That movie gets that movie gets a lot of play, right?
Yes.
And you would hope that residuals would be reaching her.
You would think.
So that she's not home. No, but you would hope that she
Right.
would have residuals reaching her that would allow her to not be homeless. But life is going to life, especially if you have an addiction problem. So that just makes it extra sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, stand behind it. Next up, though.
Alrighty, Mickey's Home Alone. Apparently, Mickey's pulling a Kevin McAllister in a new animated Christmas special. So, he's going to be trying to kill two old dudes trying to break in, maybe?
Probably going to be Pete.
Like Roddykat said, I stand behind it. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what's going on with this. Mickey's Home Alone is produced by Wild Canary in association with Disney Junior. So he's probably not going to be trying to kill two people trying to break in. The special is executive produced by Tom Rogers and co-executive produced by Rachel Ruderman with Shane Prigamore as director. So that's pretty much... I mean, you could read the official description, but yeah, that's... let's see here.
I mean, it technically is Home Alone, so it's based on the description.
Behind Home Alone must protect their... Oh my God, they are. While Mickey and Pluto must protect their home from two feisty villains. Oh
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very much that. They were not joking.
Oh
Now the killing part might be, I'm sure there'll be some cartoonish shenanigans definitely happening that might mimic someone dying, but
right.
Yeah, probably not that point.
Right. Listen, Kevin McAllister is guilty of attempted murder on multiple occasions.
But you know what? Nowadays they'd be like, no, he was just standing his ground. That's what they would do. That's what some people would say. It was a home invasion, to be fair, also. But Either way, that's all. It is all of that is what it is on that. Because Agent 70 is absolutely right, basically. New Transformers movie announced as franchise future becomes
Did you skip
clearer.
one?
Did I? It's quite possible that happened. Oh, I did. That one got somehow. I don't know why that's happening. There we go. So back to Star Trek: Strange New Worlds Season 4 trailer. Thank you very much, Agent 70. Was released recently. Apparently, Kirk and Spock is in a hug. Based on this picture, I don't know if that was something from the season or in the trailer, because I did not watch the trailer. Fourth season is going to premiere July 23rd on Paramount Plus and will consist of 10 episodes. And the fifth season is going to be last season when that happens. So yeah, but apparently they're focusing on there's going to be more action and adventure, as if there weren't in the other 3 seasons. Like, what are we talking about here? Again, I don't know, because I haven't seen the trailer and I haven't watched outside of a couple of episodes of Strange New Worlds. So therein lies that. Next up,
a new Transformers movie was announced as the franchise's future becomes clearer. Let's see. So it looks like the Wrap has revealed that Paramount and Hasbro are not done with the Transformers. Welcome to Derry writer Jason Fuchs has signed on to write an untitled Transformers script. Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, Mark Varadian, Michael Bay, Tom DeSanto, and Don Murphy are all signed on as producers, with Steven Spielberg and Hasbro tapped as executive producers. Okay. We'll see when that drops.
Yeah. I don't know. I said, where's this commercial? You know what? No, get off of that. CBS forced to pay fine for Colbert final music usage. This has nothing to do with comic book related, but I had to put this in there. Colbert stuck it to CBS, nicely. So basically, I think we talked about this before. So on the last episode of Colbert Report, that's not the Colbert, the Late Show, excuse me, that's his old show. But basically,
right,
he played Linus and Lucy, aka the Peanuts, the theme. And was basically like, oh no, CBS would have to pay a fine for playing this. What are y'all doing? Well, excuse me, it was the band that played it, and Colbert was fake shocked, saying, oh no, CBS might have to pay a fine, and they did. So, and what ended up happening, apparently, so yeah, CBS did have to pay a fine, and what ended up happening is that the money from said fine went to the rights holders. Basically sent that to the World Central Kitchen, aka Chef Jose Andres's charity. So some good came out of it, both at the beginning and the end of it. So therein lies that. Next up,
The Fast and the Furious is returning to theaters for its 25th anniversary.
I'm too old for this shit.
So, Dominic Toretto was introduced to us in 2001's The Fast and the Furious. Good God. So after 25 years, 10 mainline films, 1 spin-off, 1 animated TV series, a smattering of video games, 4 reported live-action TV series in development, and at least 1 more mainline film and several spin-offs and standalone movies also in development, the series shows no sign of slowing down, at least according to the writer of this article. So, The Fast and the Furious is coming back to theaters, the OG, for 7 days, from Friday, August 21st to Thursday, August 27th. You can catch the movie that started it all on the big screen again. So you can check Fandango or any of your other ways of getting movie tickets and, check that out on the big screen.
And also, a side note on this that I forgot to put in here, there's also going to be a popcorn bucket for the same time. And guess what's in the shape of? Agent 70.
What's that?
I said there's going to be a popcorn bucket also coming out when this comes back out to theaters. And guess what's in the shape of?
Are you serious?
I am serious. I didn't put it in the news, but I did see that out there.
A charger?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It is the charger from
Gotcha.
So I thought it might have said it here, but I don't think it did. But I did see another news article that absolutely said it. That was a thing. I'm like, okay, that's real dumb. But at the same time, dumb in the way that you expect. So yeah, I don't know if I would watch this one back in the theaters again. Actually, I didn't watch it in the first place, but yeah.
I mean, I didn't either. I definitely watched this on TV.
Right. But it would be novel, I guess. Probably the one I would probably do would be 5, and I think I saw 5 in the theater originally.
Yeah,
so,
I think I saw 5 in the theater after I heard good things about it.
Right. So I don't know. But hey, it's going to be out there. I'm sure as closer to the time that this happens, we'll probably mention this again. That's going to be a thing. So
it kind of makes me want to watch 5 again.
Yeah, that's kind of what ends up happening when at the very least 4 going into 5, honestly, for me, because it's like, you know what? 5 is when it gets bonkers, but 4 is 4 was Tokyo Drift, wasn't it?
No, 3 is Tokyo Drift. 4 is right. 4 is getting locked up and then not getting locked up.
Right. That is Fast and Furious, right? Or am I tripping?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Weird ass franchise. Either way, next up, Josie and the Pussycat sequel is being discussed according to Tara Reid, but she doubts it's going to get made. So, I don't know why anybody's talking to. Let me stop. That's not nice. So yeah, I know that. So apparently, it's been actually, according to this, 20 it's like, yeah, about 25 years since that Josie and the Pussycats movie was made, which still gets panned.
You're too old for this shit.
Yeah. I still haven't watched that movie fully. Also, probably for good reason.
I had no willingness to watch that, so it's okay.
Honestly, I kind of watched it I was gonna watch it for a couple of people starring in it, but that's just me. Didn't do it. So let's see. Apparently, according to this article, those that saw the film loved it. That's not what I've heard, but the cult classic part is probably true. The cast still gets asked about the film, and now there are rumors of a possible sequel, according to this article. Quote, now we're thinking of making a second one. That would be the coolest movie ever. If the Backstreet Boys could do it, we could do it. That was the quote from Tara Reid, who was at a panel at SpaceCon 2026. Got it. So it's a convention thing. Later in the panel, Reid seemed less optimistic about the sequel being made. For some reason, and says, don't think it was made. That's why I'm putting it out there. This echoes similar comments from her co-stars Rachel Lee Cook, but Reid hasn't given up all hope as she has an idea for the film's story. So, and basically it says, you could do a comeback, everybody's comeback. Think Backstreet Boys, they didn't talk to each other for like 15 years or make another record or whatever. So it's a thing. We just come back together with each other. Therein lies that. If it happens, yeah, sure. But yeah, anyway, there's another quote in there, and we'll have to go into it. Agent 70. Next up,
I just saw something I think we would want to talk about, so I'm going to add the link, and you can talk about, unless you have this Jim Lee related Kickstarter in the news for next week.
I do have some Jim Lee news, but I don't think it's about a Kickstarter. So no, I don't.
All right,
so
I will drop it for next week. I will drop it in
because we do have a good bit of news.
It looks like for next week.
I mean, what is it? Is it how time sensitive is it? Like, is the Kickstarter about to start or?
It's launching. When is this launching? 1 second. I apologize for hijacking. I apologize. So it has not started yet.
Right.
So we can keep it for next week.
Okay.
I'll put it. I'll definitely note it in our internal chat. Next up, K-pop Demon Hunters 1 year anniversary. Holy cow! K-pop Demon Hunters has officially spent 52 weeks in Netflix's global top 10. That's nuts. And they're still behind on making toys because they had no idea what they had on their hands. So,
But we do have some news about something that's coming, that's either out or coming out
right.
later on.
So the movies going back to the big screen will return. K-pop Demon Hunters will return to theaters across the U.S. for special anniversary screenings with sing-along experiences. Check your local listings. There's a TikTok live global watch party. Okay. There's a new Anua campaign video and song. So I guess Anua is a skincare company. That's interesting. Using live Korean folks to sell skincare because that's
That is
just
the
a
thing that
regular
happens on
thing.
TikTok. Yes.
That's just a regular thing,
Right.
because I was about to say because Korean skincare is very popular. You can lace up or strap into some golden footwear with Vans. That's K-pop Demon Hunters related. You can get Hunmoon powered haul for toy hunters. Come on, I was already complaining about that. Starting June 22nd at participating online retailers around the world, toys from Mattel, Hasbro, and Jazzwares will be available for purchase. It's about time. Be My Friends merch pop-ups are making global stops. Devilish new Saja Boys line is coming out from Loungefly. There's going to be a vinyl and CD anniversary editions of the soundtrack. K-pop Demon Hunters, the immersive experience, is coming to Netflix House. There's going to be free outdoor screenings around the United States. Check out what's close to you. And this is just the opening act. There's going to be more K-pop Demon Hunters anniversary festivities coming up soon.
Funnily enough, I ring closer and closer to actually watching that movie. Still hasn't happened yet because of same thing that usually happens when it gets brought up. But yeah, they realize that. Like I said, I'm surprised that actually the thing I was going to mention later on is not in the it was not in the article. This is probably for a good thing. Next, we're going to go into the comic book news. Oh, I see September solicitors, which I thought September solicitors were already out, but okay, apparently that might be a link. So, all right, here's a little errata, folks, because for the last couple of weeks, we had been talking about Mike Richardson opening up a museum underneath Dark Horse Comics. So, what I had been led to believe, and I don't know if Agent 70 knew this, he didn't say anything about it either. I thought there was a misspelling of Milwaukee, because as we know, Milwaukee's a state. Apparently,
you mean a city?
A city, excuse me. Yes. Apparently, there's another city in Oregon called Milwaukee that is spelled the way that they have it here, and that is where this museum is opening up. So all the times for the last couple of weeks, I'm talking about that's a typo and people are being silly and dumb. That was apparently my fault, 'cause I did not know. And again, if Agent 70 knew, he didn't say anything. So I'm not trying to bury him with my mistake, but that was definitely my mistake. I was like, it's important. I mean, it's freaking Oregon. Who knows what's there? But yes, so in Milwaukee, spelled with an IE, there Mike Richardson's setting up his museum, which I think is probably going to open up at some point soonish. If I'm not mistaken, can't remember. Regardless, that is a thing. There's a thing look through the article about that. He owns the building, so you could do that. And Dark Horse is still there, or Dark Horse still has an office in that same building. So yeah, therein lies that. Bunglim says, going back to K-pop Demon Hunters, that he's watched it 4 times, once by himself, and one with each kid individually, and one time with all three of us. Oh, nice. That's sweet. That's also a lot of times, but I get it. I know people said that it's catchy as fuck, so I get it, kind of. I haven't watched it. Next up, though,
There's a comic store taking over an old Walmart. That's gigantic, yo.
yes,
Third Eye Comics is opening up their 9th location. Wow, good for them. Third Eye Comics is opening up their 9th location in Glen Burnie, Maryland, in a former Walmart. Good for you. Seriously,
go
good
here.
for you. Third Eye Glen Burnie is opening in a 10,000 square foot building that used to be a Walmart. Good for you. It will serve the greater Baltimore area and is located 5 minutes from Baltimore Washington International Airport, right off I-97. Good for you. It's opening its doors on July 25th, 2026, just a week before Spider-Man Brand New Day hits theaters.
Right, and what,
Okay.
a week after San Diego? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool and slightly baller. Yeah, I like Von Gloom says, I hope they succeed, because that's a lot of space to
Yeah.
But not to be
cover.
fair, looking at, if you're watching the video version, you can see they have pretty much diversified. So you can see they got like board games in here, or there's other stuff in here, not just comics.
Sure.
So, and a lot of comic places have had to do that, or have done that, or let's face it, probably have had to do that for reasons. So, a big ass Mega Mart comic book store is a funny thing to do to have in 2026. But
Seriously.
good on them. Shoot, you know what? Like I said, I want to go. I would like to see the layout of this place for myself. I don't know when that's going to happen, or if that's going to happen, because I can't remember when the next time I'm even going to be in Maryland. But hey, if y'all folks are over there, that are up that way, get some pictures, put them online, send them to us, at us. When it happens, of course. So yeah. Next up. Oh wait. Apparently, just to round this off, at the store's grand opening event, everything will be 20% off in stores, excluding pre-orders, new releases, gift cards, games, workshops, and TCGs. So that's pretty much half the other stuff that they have. So it's just.
I was about to say that. See, that's the thing, because I'm sure that the margin on those TCGs are small, so they can't give that kind of whatchamacallit, discount.
There's a good bit of markup on TCGs, especially these days. So
depending on the I think it's depending upon the release and depending upon the store. So
especially with
at least that's my
that
experience so far.
Right, especially with that Marvel set that's come up, that's already got a markup on it before it even comes from Wizard, and it's definitely probably going to get marked up. Definitely getting marked up when it gets to LGSs. So pretty certain. Luckily, it's the standard, but still, it's the standard. That's I feel like some of them are getting a good $20 off of off some of them joints. Regardless. Depending on what you get. So, but yeah, so like I said, excluding all that stuff and the locations, there's a lot of stuff going on here. We'll move on. But yeah, good on them. Hope they succeed. Like Von Gloom says. Next up, though, Hoopla partners with Aggregate Ink to distribute indie comics into libraries, which I've been using Hoopla a good bit lately, actually, for something or another. So let's see. Hoopla Digital. If y'all don't know and you got a library card, you should be using Libby and Hoopla, so you can get, check out comic books and audiobooks and all this stuff. You can. It's a good resource. Not a sponsor, but it is a resource. Just saying. But let's see. They've announced that they will be partnering with a newly created distribution service, Aggregate Ink, to bring indie comics to library patrons. This announcement comes amid the heat of the digital comics arms race, a term coined by ICV2, where multiple platforms are vying for digital readership. Aggregate Ink is a new way for indie comic creators to find public library distribution and grow their audience. That's pretty cool, actually. Let's see. A name is mentioned. Eric Gladstone, who had a stint at Stanley's Power Entertainment and writing comic books, launched Aggregate Ink after he became frustrated with his own attempts to get his books into libraries. So there you go. A need and a meet. So yeah, and it goes on from there. You can read the rest of it from there. Let's see. Apparently, Aggregate Ink already represents 100 titles hosted on lending library platforms like Hoopla and the Palace Project, and they hope to expand to Comics Plus and Libby. The deal is non-exclusive, and titles can be added to other sites or removed at a creator's discretion. They've also already partnered with Stack Deck Press, a queer press with multiple Eisner nominees. There you go. Next up.
The New York City Department of Education has released Know Your Rights, a free child-friendly comic aimed at informing readers, including undocumented immigrants, about their rights in case they are confronted by the likes of the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. Created by writer Alex Segura, artist David Hahn, colorist Ellie Wright, and letterer Taylor Esposito, the comic also includes a foreword by Kamar H. Samuels, the Chancellor of New York City Public Schools, and additional resources for staying safe from non-local law enforcement. This is going to be also available in a Spanish language version of the comic. And yeah, I guess this is going to be distributed at local city schools.
Mm-hmm. So there you go, folks. There is that. To answer Von Gloom's question, no, the Greg Capullo blowing up Marvel spot for not paying a cover artist did not make the news. Actually, I saw that earlier though. I did saw that on social media earlier, and I might post something for next week if and or when it blows up a little bit more, which it probably will, because yeah, that's a bad situation. But no, we don't. I don't have anything in the news about it this week though. Next up though, Eisner nominated Noir is the New Black launches Kickstarter for season 2 finale. So this comes from, let's see. After several successful campaigns to fund the original Noir is the New Black in 2020, as well as the first 2 issues of season 2, Fair Square Graphics and a host of industry veterans have returned to Kickstarter to bring fans the finale of the now Eisner-nominated anthology series. Fans have responded in a big way, with the campaign reaching its funding goal in 10 hours. I don't think this is what Agent 7 was referring to earlier. Noir is the New Black was created to give Black creators in comics the opportunity to tell unique stories without their perspectives being watered down or censored. And I want to say in that clickbait section video with the Black Comic Lords, someone mentioned that exact same thing, and I think they're associated with this. So you might want to check out that video because they'll probably talk about it a little bit. But the anthology continues to deliver unfiltered stories that are easy for new readers to jump into, while offering fresh perspectives and narratives that help readers see themselves on the page. So there you go. There's some notable names like Chris Cross and Joseph Illich that are that have stuff in this. So Greg Burnham, that was the person that was in actually that Black Comic Lords video, so I'm pretty sure he will be talking about it. And as I'm scrolling through this article, you can see some cover for some stuff that is in there. So cool. If that is of interest, you go check out that the Kickstarter. Next up,
Die Hard screenwriter is set to pen the next chapter for Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, for Gungnir. Gungnir Books has signed Die Hard screenwriter Stephen E. D'Souza to write 3 graphic novels, including a continuation of his reboot of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. The new book, Sheena Frostline, will take the long-lived jungle heroine into a new environment, the frozen north. The other 2 titles are Earth Patrol Tonight, a sci-fi space farce, and Gulliver, a modern interpretation of the classic Jonathan Swift novel. No release dates have been announced.
Hopefully she will get more clothes than what she has on in that cover. Next up, Escape from New York returns in Escape from Chicago. So this is coming from Mad Cave Studios, who has announced is a project. It is a new series based on John Carpenter's classic. Y'all know what that is. Come on. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. But well, you know, it's Kurt Russell's movie. It's John Carpenter, Snake Plissken. Y'all know the deal. The series will see Plissken embark on a mission to protect a woman being pursued by the warlord who rules Chicago. So basically, more of the same for Snake. In this situation, there's a synopsis here. I won't go through all of it, but you can also see the cover. It is Kyle Higgins is writing it. Val Rodriguez, it looks like, it's doing the art. And of course, there are a bunch of people doing variant covers for this as well. I am looking for release date. September 23rd, and it's going to be eight covers. So there you go. Escape from Chicago. Next up.
Hellboy returns to Hell in a new event from creator Mike Mignola, and there's a first look here at Polygon. The Nothing But Blood event begins in October. This is a new chapter in Hellboy saga. I guess last Thursday, Dark Horse Comics announced Hellboy in Hell, Nothing But Blood, a two-part comic event that finds creator Mike Mignola revisiting the seminal series. So let's see when this is being released and price point. Hellboy in Hell, Nothing But Blood #1, the first of 2 issues, goes on sale October 7th. Mignola and Pomaze are being joined by Dave Stewart on colors, and Mark Ryu will draw a variant cover for issue #2. No price point mentioned, but it's probably going to be in line with like a short miniseries, maybe of a decent length.
Yeah. Next up, IDW sets Godzilla's biggest season yet with a release slate fit for the King of Monsters, according to this article. So let's see. We have, excuse me. Oh, so Godzilla 13 is coming up, and that's what they're talking about. It's headed to shops on October 7th, and that's going to kick off a new arc for the King of the Monsters blockbuster series. Marks a new jumping on point for the adventure. It's from writer Tim Seeley and artist Hedry Presedia. Let's see, and it goes into it goes into the story of it, and I saw the word G-Force on there, and it's like, no, not Gotcha Man, and not the hamsters either, apparently. But it's, yeah, therein lies that. So yeah, and also Kaiju of Oz is coming. Let's see, so that's Godzilla in the Land of Oz, and that's going to be available October 7th. That is also a part of that Godzilla Monsterpiece Theater Presents thing. Let's see, there's Godzilla versus New York, continuing the Godzilla versus America situation, and there's more stuff coming. So yeah, therein lies that. That's the stuff that's coming down the pike. Next up.
Is there too much superhero content? DC Comics' boss Jim Lee thinks so. So while speaking to the Master Plan podcast, Jim Lee reminisced on his days as an early superhero fan in the 60s and 70s when it was harder to keep up with comics, and movie and TV adaptations were scarce at best. Let's see. Although he doesn't call for any kind of reduction in superhero media, he does state his opinion that the large amount of available material makes fans more willing to dismiss material that creators truly cared about making. Okay.
Yeah, because he's definitely not going to get rid of the slew of Batman books that are out. So you got to start it inside the house there, pal. I mean, he's not totally wrong, though. There is a lot out there. So I'm not just trying to dismiss what he's saying, but also, like I said, the call is still coming from inside the house. Von Glim says, wow, Mignola still has stories after the end of the world. Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so. Next up, though, excuse me. Speaking of the Bat, here's some sales numbers for Absolute Batman #20, and DC Comics may lead in May in some sales charts, because apparently Comics Beat got a hold of, or starting to get a hold of sales charts now. So there's probably more of that being written up. Let's see. It's previewed each week on the Comics Industry Insiders Live podcast and presented. Oh, well, we don't need to do that. So if you're watching the video version, you can see this chart of the market share by publisher, which DC still has the top with 40%. Marvel has 34%, and then it goes down to 13% with Image and everybody else well down in the single digits percentage. According to this charts. So yeah, it's got an 8-point, according to this article, like I said, 8-point lead over Marvel, and with top titles being Absolute Batman number 20, and also Absolute Green Arrow number 1, actually, at the top. Batman number 9, Absolute Superman number 19, Absolute Martian Manhunter number 11, and then it goes into Marvel DC Spider-Man, Superman number 1, then Daredevil, Ben 10, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Amazing Spider-Man number 28 to round off to what they have on for the top 10 titles for May. So, and there's apparently a full list right here, which I won't get into, but you can if you check out the show notes in this article. Next up.
All right, spoilers. Now is the time to ring the spoiler bell. This is really the time to ring the spoiler bell. This is no joke. Like, I don't even know if we should really talk about this as a news article, because it is so spoiler heavy, because it does kind of stem from developments in recent issues of Absolute Batman. But I rang the spoiler bell. I warned you. You may want to tune out for the next 15 to 20 seconds. Barbara Gordon is the Absolute Bat in Absolute Batman number 24. So apparently at Heroes Con, the creators confirmed that Barbara Gordon becomes the Bat in Absolute Batman number 24. And it turns, it creates a version of a character for Barbara Gordon to not inherit, but just to become and occupy in the Absolute version of the DC universe.
Yeah, it's basically Batgirl, but not Batgirl.
Right.
So, yeah. As I said, told Age of 70 earlier, yeah, sometimes news comes out at Heroes Con, and that was, I guess, one of them. So, sure. And a new arm, actually, also news from Heroes Con, now to think about it. A new arm for Absolute Wonder Woman. Spoiler bell has already been rang, so there you go. At Heroes Con this past weekend, DC Comics editor-in-chief Marie Javins took to the stage to talk about upcoming titles, including talking to Hayden Sherman about the look for the upcoming Absolute Wonder Woman 24. So, and it kind of goes into that. And there's a quote here from Hayden Sherman. This is her getting back in the ring after that loss that was mentioned, which I didn't go into because I guess that would also be spoilers in issue 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now she's on the come up, basically. Also, some more news for next week. We'll leave that for then, and that's something actually I knew that was coming, but it wasn't announced. We'll talk about that then. Next up,
Act 2 of the Wonder War begins this September. So this is by the creative team of writer Tom King and artist Daniel Sampere, unleashing the Wonder War, the latest major storyline as part of their run on the ongoing Wonder Woman title. This is the regular DC Wonder Woman title, set 20 years in the future. The story pits Diana and her grown-up daughter Trinity against the machinations of an all-new foe known as the Matrix. Today, earlier this week, DC Publishing revealed details for the Wonder War Act 2 in September. Okay.
I still never.
Wonder Woman number 37 is where it starts.
Right. I still never read much of anything about how this her daughter came into being. I knew that was a thing, and she had I guess an origin book or whatever it could be. And I know she's still around doing stuff, but I'm like, this just kind of came out of the blue. Also, Wonder Girl is right there. Got to do some more with her, even though I know she's with the Titans. Anyway, Von Gloom says, I guess talking about that absolute, either Absolute Bat or Absolute Wonder Woman. Looks like something out of anime. Looking forward to Sherman's Legion of Superheroes, because I guess that was another thing that was probably announced. But here's some weird news for you. No pun. Well, every pun intended, I guess. DC unleashes the Weird Al. Excuse me. There's going to be a Batman Superman Weird Al World's Weirdest book coming out, folks. So if you thought that Batman Superman variant cover was a strange thing to happen, well, guess what? Now it's going to be a whole ass book. So yes, it's going to be Batman Superman Weird Al World's Weirdest #1. It's an all new 40-page one shot, and if you're watching the video version, you can see now it kind of makes sense who's going to be involved in that. But anyway, it's going to bring the world's finest together with Weird Al Yankovic for a dimension hopping adventure unlike anything they faced before. It's going to be written by Mark Waid with vibes by Yankovic himself, according to this article. This is also a DC press release, so that you got to take it for what it is. Himself, and art and main cover by Dan Schoening. It's going to come out September 2nd, 2026. And of course, there's a well-known fifth dimensional imp that is also on the cover of this. So that should tell you everything you need to know about what's going to happen in this book, or most of what's going to happen in this book. Also, a couple of variant covers if you're watching the video version. So there you go. Next up,
DC Comics launches Gotham General, that is, Gotham Central and Batman Streets of Gotham for Bad Seeds in September and October. Gotham Central #1 by Christopher Cantwell and Jacob Phillips follows Gordon and Espinosa amid Gotham's collapse. Apparently, this is a big thing that's coming up in the DC universe, the mainline DC universe. Bad Seed spreads across Batman 13, Detective Comics number 1113, Batgirl, Nightwing, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and more. October teases continue with Batman #14, Gotham Central #2, and Gotham General #2 as the Gotham crisis escalates. Wait, is Gotham General like their version of the Pit or ER?
that's what I was kind of wondering with that name.
Gotham General #1 is the solicitation. Welcome to General, Gotham City's Tier 1 trauma center. Oh my god.
Oh, there you go.
Power is out, fires are burning, Transpo is shot, and the calls just keep coming. It is the Pit. Oh my goodness.
So Greg Rucka's writing Gotham Central, which I loved his Gotham PD. Was it Gotham? Wait, what was it? Was it Gotham Central or was it GCPD?
It was Gotham.
It was GCPD. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was either Gotham Central or GCPD, one or two, or they shortened it to GCPD. Either way, that was a good book. So I might actually end up checking out one of these. But that is kind of funny that they're basically making the Gotham version of the Pit. And then there's the Matt Fraction, Mariko Tamaki, you might have said already, Streets of Gotham. So, a lot more bat-centered books or bat-adjacent books.
Yeah, I didn't get to that, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, there's a lot. You had said a whole bunch of stuff already. So next up, Deadpool creator. Oh yeah, this is the dumb thing I decided to put in the lineup. Deadpool creator alleges legal complications killed major X-Men comic, and that X-Men comic is Hoxpox. So in a recent social media post, Rob Liefeld wrote, "As I understand it, the reason House of X, Powers of X derailed so quickly was that the most exciting element was tabled immediately following the author of the first 15 lives of Harry August bringing up questions of plagiarism, citing Jonathan Hickman's previous mention of the book as a favorite." So again, these are just, this is him just kind of saying this. We don't know if there was...
It's a conspiracy for Rob Liefeld.
It always is. The comic, it says here the prominent, but I'm not saying that. The comic creator was quick to defend his stance on the controversy. And we don't need to go through. If you want to if you want to read through the rest of that, that is a thing. So yeah, Rob, yeah, woo, he's trying to make a name for himself. Stop.
Oh no.
Anyway, next up.
That's funny. After four decades away, John Byrne is rewriting X-Men history on his own terms. We have here an extended preview of John Byrne's X-Men Elsewhen, which pre-releases has already sold out and is going back for a second printing. Okay. Let's see. X-Men Elsewhen started as a webcomic that John Byrne published on his website starting in 2018, but is set to get a physical release later this month. Let's see.
I think we actually talked about this one point.
I guess so.
It was a while ago, though.
Elsewhen Volume 1 is on sale on June 23rd, with the planned Volume 2 and 3 lined up for future release. Okay.
Yeah, so this would be curious to look into, you know, for that stuff. Next up, though, the Muppets make history in first ever Marvel comic. Is it the first ever? That's wild. First ever Marvel Comics anniversary one shots, which I guess makes sense given all those variant covers that were coming out recently or fairly recently. Marvel Comics has announced the Muppets Take the Marvel Universe #1, a special one shot arriving this September or maybe actually that might be still coming. Excuse me, that celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Muppet Show. The oversized issue brings together the beloved cast of the Muppets and a wide range of Marvel heroes for a collection of all news stories that from an impressive lineup of creators, including, apparently, according to this article, longtime Muppets fan Chip Zdarsky, which makes so much sense, who teams with artist Pete Woods for a story that throws Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, and the rest of the gang into a wild adventure alongside Spider-Man, Wolverine, Black Panther, Emma Frost, and more. The main story begins when Rolf the dog is kidnapped. Why? You stay right there. Y'all can't see, I have a Rolf figure over in the corner, but y'all can't see that. That's my favorite character, Buffett's character. Anyway, Rolf is kidnapped by Mojo to help launch a new streaming service, forcing an unlikely alliance between Marvel heroes and Muppet favorites. Other stories in the issue include a scientific mishap involving Bruce Banner, Hank Pym, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and Beaker. Meep, from Kyle Starks and Mike Henderson. A mystical cooking crisis pairing Doctor Strange and the Swedish chef from Ashley Allen and Paco Medina. And a cosmic encounter between pigs in space and Rocket Raccoon and Groot from Mackenzie Cadenhead and David Baldion. So there'll be other additional stories by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Adam F. Goldberg, E.J. Sue, and other posts. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here regardless. There's a cover if you are interested, and there's a variant cover and some more variant covers, and I've already said the date, which was September 23rd. Next up.
The Midnight Suns are returning in Marvel's critically acclaimed Mark Spector Moon Knight series. If you're not reading it, you should. It's pretty good. Due out in September, Moon Knight #8 introduces a brand new version of the iconic super team, one that includes Blade, Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, Clea, and Daredevil. That issue is written by Jed McKay and illustrated by Devmalia Pramanik, the regular penciler, who's doing a bang-up job on Mark Spector Moon Knight, and a lot of the previous Moon Knight volumes or versions of the title that have come out in the recent past. Cover art is going to be by Jose Luis Suarez and Adam Gorham. Okay.
Punisher star in Marvel Zombies Warzone. So Marvel Comics have revealed that Marvel Zombies Warzone, which is a new entry in the horrifying alternate universe starring Frank Castle the Punisher, Luke Cage, Elektra, Iron Fist, and Moon Knight. Full stop. Written by Tom Waltz and by Jamie Infante. And drawn by Jaime Infante. It's a 5-issue series that sees New York street level vigilantes band together after the Avengers and the Fantastic Four fail to prevent a zombie virus from infecting the city. There is the cover right there. And the date for this is September the 2nd.
What a
Next up.
natural story. That's just a natural story. You know what I mean? Like you give
Sure.
Frank a complete license to kill everything in sight.
Sure.
You know?
I mean that. Yeah. I mean, if anything makes sense out of that, that's the one thing.
You know, Marvel's most lethal icons face off in new Deadpool and Punisher Big Guns crossover. Good God. This September, Benjamin Percy's Wade Wilson, Deadpool, and Punisher runs collide in Big Guns, a 4-part crossover illustrated by Jeff Shaw and Jose Luis Suarez. Okay.
Guns versus guns. Sure. Only one has a healing factor.
Yep.
You already said the date, right? Yeah.
Oh, no, I did not. It is, I'm sorry. I gotta open it up again. This is set to, the first issue of the crossover is set to drop on September 9th.
To celebrate 616 Day.
No, September 2nd, that is. I'm sorry. September 2nd, it's dropping in Deadpool 8 first.
Right.
And then it's going to be following in The Punisher.
Sure. Next up, Doctor Doom wages war on Hell in Marvel's 50-page splash page epic. There we go. Thought I read that right. So, no surprising, Doom is coming back, or is technically still around in various way, shape, or form. But the book is it's going to come out this October. Marvel revisits one of Doom's most determined attempts in Doom All-on-One #1, a new oversized one-shot written by Al Ewing and artist Alessandro Cappuccio. So the issue promises a unique reading experience told entirely through landscape-oriented splash pages. The story follows Doom as he fights his way through seemingly insurmountable opposition in pursuit of his goal, so per usual. Along the way, he finds himself facing heroes, villains, and forces across the Marvel Universe. According to Ewing, the project was built around delivering a massive showcase for one of Marvel's greatest characters that is going to be featured in a movie coming up shortly thereafter. I added that last part. Let's see. So it said October, but did it give an exact date or no? October 7th is the date. And you can see me scrolling through variant covers as well. Next up.
Black Panther and Namor are journeying into hell in a new Doomed limited series. This is coming out in September. This is spinning out of developments in Avengers Armageddon and Captain America. Let's see. So this is a 5-part limited series solicited right now. First coming out September 2nd.
Yeah. Von Gloom, if anyone's going to at the very least attempt to survive a zombie apocalypse, it's going to be Frank Castle. I think we can safely say that he'd be all right for a while. Safe to say.
Listen, that is a target-rich environment.
Yes, absolutely. The one thing that would surprise me is if Bullseye doesn't, but or like Hawkeye probably be all right. But I mean, he's been shown to become an old man, so who's to say? Not saying that this is in the same universe, but still. DNX #1, DNX final batch. We were talking about that before the show, also because can't help it. But so there are variant covers as you can see in this article. There's one of them right there. If you're watching the video version, if you're not, you should. But there's going to be yet another set of blind bags for the #1 issue, and a bunch of variant covers therein. So According to this, the DNX True Believers blind bags will only contain exclusive variant covers not available for regular ordering. The main cover and regular order to open to order variant covers cannot be found in True Believers blind bags. So at least that's something.
Right.
So yeah, and that's going to be on September the 2nd when DNX number 1 of 5 drops. Next up.
Yeah, they must have gotten some feedback from that Daredevil drop where people were getting the regular A cover in the blind bag, and people were kind of maybe not unhappy, maybe not so happy about that. I got an A cover
rightfully
in
so,
the blind
honestly.
bag. So
Wait, you said you got it?
Yeah, I did. When one of my Daredevil blind bags, I got the A cover,
Nice.
which was annoying. I was like, wait, aren't these supposed to be kind of variants?
Right.
Let's see. Slight spoilers. David Colton transforms into the Marvel Universe's next big hero or villain in Avengers Armageddon #2 preview. Yep, that basically has happened already. We still don't know how we're going to react or how this character is going to react to events in the comic moving forward.
Would it be right for me to say who? Like, granted, I have not been reading Armageddon, so is this
this David Colton character was introduced in the pages of Captain America.
There we go. Okay, that was the answer I was gonna go for. I mean, I was gonna question. So okay, sure. Next up, USA Today launches weekly Spider-Man Today series. Wow, remember when Spider-Man comics used to be in newspapers? Anyway, USA Today's online hub, USA Today Play, is adding Marvel to its selection of comics. I did not even know this was a thing. Over 1,000 digital comics will be available to subscribers, and I guess probably the other reason why I didn't know this was a thing, including an exclusive Infinity comic series, Spider-Man Today, by Al Ewing and Todd Knock. So you got a good creative team on it, at least. The weekly 48-part series will feature Peter Parker teaming up with other heroes across the Marvel Universe. So it's basically a Marvel team up. A curated weekly selection will also be available to new subscribers, although this means the reading experience is interrupted by ads coding across the pages. So what's the point of the subscription? If that's happening? Okay, but anyway, that's the thing. If y'all get USA Today, subscribe to USA Today, let us know. Next up.
Samsung and Sony collaborate for the Spidey Tracker interactive fan campaign. This has become a website, but this is also very much an advertisement for a new Samsung phone.
So this is also the thing that I was talking about earlier, because there was a video. I don't know if it's attached to this. Yes, it is. So, Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned Leeds in the Spider-Man movies, did a video introducing the Spidey Tracker. You should check it out. It's actually kind of fun. That goes along with this whole situation. Yeah, and that was, of course, by Sony. And like Agent 70 said, yes, it is definitely to move some phones as well. So therein lies that. Next up. Boop. Hey, guess what, folks? Hot Topic has X-Men 97 merch. There's really not that much else to say about it. So there's some t-shirts here if you're watching the video version. Unfortunately, not one of them says, "Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself," because that's not what happens in X-Men 97 anyway. Although somebody does have that shirt out there elsewhere. But there's a Morph shirt, there's a Sunspot shirt, there's a Cyclops to Me by X-Men. Shirts upon shirts. Rogue's got a shirt or 2 or 3. There's looks like I believe that was an X-Men cover, actually, that they're with Rogue and Gambit on it. There's a Gambit cover, there's a Gambit, there's a Jubilee one. So yeah, shirts upon shirts upon shirts. And figures, because there's a Professor X pop vinyl. That's of course because it is also Hot Topic. There's a Storm one also. There's a X-Men hoodie. There you go. There's that. I'm gonna say new X-Men that god awful yellow and black. It's not god awful. Some people actually like that fit, but yeah, they made a jacket out of that new X-Men joint. So, and of course, there's a Monopoly game, and other stuff. So Funko Pops, shirts, stuff, merch. There you go, folks. Hot topic. And apparently there's a bunch of it. Next up. Actually, I'm going to take these next
Yeah,
one,
please.
2, 3.
Nap
4.
time.
So this is the Magic the Gathering block, of which next, pre-release is happening in a few days, actually, and on the 23rd. So yay! And I believe the set will be out by the time we record. Well, excuse me, after we record, the day after we record next week, it'll be out one way, shape, or form. But this iconic $20 Magic card is returning for Magic for Marvel superheroes. It is, of course, Kang flavored. The card is called Time Warp, so that should give you some hints as to what's going to happen with it. If you're watching the video version, you can see the card. It's a sorcerer, and you can see what it does. I'm not going to go into it right here now, but it does a time thing that you would expect a time thing to do. I believe this is a mechanic that has come back to Magic, that has been away for a minute. Next up, one of Magic's most powerful black enchantments is getting a reprint. So this is another reprint, just like that last one. According to some YouTuber who may or may not have gotten a hold to one of the Commander deck lists that is going to be coming out. Let's see, it is a blue, black, red, also known as Grixis deck that is essentially a villain deck with a lot of nefarious twists to it. There have been people doing set reviews lately, so that stuff's been coming out. News about a lot of stuff's been coming out already. Calling attention to this card, Black Market Connections, which has Bullseye going up against 8-Ball and Pool, which that's a gross mismatch. But also there's some other cards in here, that you can peruse if you are. So some of these cards I've also seen when people are talking about the set reviews that have been going around in the last couple of days. So therein lies that. And let me see, is this the last one? I can't remember. First look at the Magic the Gathering Colleen Wing card for Marvel superheroes. There it is right there. It's called Colleen Wing Street Samurai. She's a legendary creature, human samurai hero. There's the stuff that it does right there. She's a 2/2 for 2. So you know what? You can get that card out pretty easily, and might actually be a fairly decent card to use if you know how to do it right. So therein lies that. And last but not least, in the Magic the Gathering block, Avengers Academy comes to your local game store in June 2026. So that should be, actually that's probably going on about right now. So pre-release for Marvel superheroes is June 19th, so aka tomorrow, as we're recording this episode, the 19th. And so as I just said, cards are going to be for sale pretty much, right? Because if your shop is one of those, like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and bust open Street Date, it's gonna happen. So you could probably go in there and get whole sets of cards. In relation to that, the welcome decks for Marvel superheroes are coming out, and if you're watching the video version, you can see the welcome decks boxes right there. There's one for Black Panther, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk, and Spider-Man. So basically with welcome decks, if you are new to Magic or not, you can go to your local game shop, say, hey, can I get a welcome decks? And they'll give you one free of charge. It's basically like 30 cards that you can start playing. And I think it also comes with lands. But basically you can use the deck to start playing Magic and learning Magic. And I know there are going to be some people that are well Magic verse going into different shops, or probably got it set up with their local shop to get all of them so they can get their collection, whatever not. But there's going to be game store stuff going in your local game shops. So, I'm sure pre-release stuff is going to absolutely happen, including an Adventures Academy event. So it's according to this, I'm not going to go fully into this, but basically you can, let's see. Yeah. So it is an event that's going in the stores. And I guess to have to do with the welcome decks with that, which makes sense because Avengers Academy is basically like, hey, you learn how to do this. So I guess it's learn how to play Magic with the welcome deck cards. Therein lies that. And that is that. Agent 70, what's next?
Hold on.
You're muted.
My alarm just rang. I had to unmute my mic because I think my snoring would have sounded really bad in the background.
Very
So
funny.
Mondo reveals new 1/6 scale Disney's Gargoyles, Goliath, and Bronx set. The Manhattan Clan is back as Mondo has revealed their latest set of 1/6 scale figures starting with Disney's Gargoyles. Let's see. Mondo's limited edition Gargoyles Goliath set is expected to go up for pre-order for a retail price of $350. Mondo stuff is not cheap.
But pretty decent quality, a lot of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is hardcore because if you look at the second photo of Bronx and Goliath, there's a lot of stuff that's included in this set.
Mm-hmm.
Alternate wings, alternate faces, alternate hands, weapon. Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah, and again, Mondo kind of does that, so that's not, you know, along the lines of Hot Toys and whatnot. Maybe not as detailed as Hot Toys, but still. But yeah, and you can see somebody has it. If you're watching the video version, you can see somebody has the Goliath figure in their hands, in relation to their chest, so you should see how big it is. So there you go, and there's Bronx. So yeah, there you go. If that's for you, that's for you. Also, Agent 70 continued to be a hater, but if I sent him some of those Captain America cards, he'd be like, "Thank you."
for me to, you know, use as bookmarks maybe.
So no, you know, you keep those things. The art on those, they do use comic artists for a lot of those artists, for a lot of arts on there. So you might actually want some of that stuff. Maybe. We don't know. We'll see. Cobra Commander reigns supreme with Hasbro's new G.I. Joe release. So this is Cobra Commander with the hoodie and dress blues. Not dress blues, in dress uniform, and the throne. So this is G.I. Joe Classified Series 2021. Let's see, pre-orders are live on Hasbro Pulse for a total of $69.99 ahead of the December 2026 release. If you're watching the video version, you can see said figure right there. I was about to say, why does he have the serpent crown on his head? But that's just a crown.
This is a really nice figure. Like, I'm tempted to get this. I do not have any G.I. Joe Classified. I don't even have a Snake Eyes, which is very surprising. But I would be tempted, sorely tempted, to get this because that's a great looking figure. I mean, obviously these are production shots, but that looks so good.
Right. And then when you get the Serpento and boot Cobra Commander off of the throne, you can switch him over to. You can switch it over. So there's the back of the box right there. You saw and there's him in the box with the throne. So yeah, it's absolutely a really good looking figure though. Next up though,
Hasbro brings Transformers Autobot Joyride back into the Age of the Primes line, reviving the adventurous 1988 G1 Power Master. The deluxe class Transformers Joyride stands 5.25 inches tall and converts from robot to dune buggy in 26 steps. Classic Transformers details return with Joyride's G1 colors and his Power Master partner, Hotwire, which converts to an engine. Transformers collectors can pre-order Age of the Primes Joyride on Hasbro Pulse now for $27.99 ahead of December 2026. And my reaction to this is who? Because this all is dated after my attention on Transformers. It kind of waned.
Yeah, I remember the Power Master stuff, but I never got any of that stuff either. So yeah, because I think I was getting out of collecting stuff, and I think I probably had given away all my Transformers at that point. I'm not even sure. Either way, next up is, speaking of getting my collection back together again, Jim and the Holograms X Transformers Autobot Blaster and KP cassettes. San Diego Comic-Con 2026 exclusive. Official images details. So yeah, folks. I don't 87. I don't think you said you were going this year, or were you?
No, it doesn't sound like it so far.
Yeah. So as I said on Twitter, I'm gonna have to holler at Matt Wang 97, and I also added Agent 70 on that as well, if he was going to be going. But now I've confirmed that.
Well, I was about to say you can order your. It's likely that you're going to be able to get it on Hasbro Pulse after, but it's going to be in limited quantities.
Possibly, but then sometimes it goes either way with some of these exclusives like that, as we have seen in the past. So that's why I want to make sure. This is one way. If it's going to be on Pulse, then that's fine. But they're not saying that here and now. Oh, actually, wait. I take it back. I did say it here.
Yeah, I think I read it on that. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I might not have to do the thing. But also, limited quantities don't really give me that shred of a hope. But nevertheless. So it's a Gemini holograms colored blaster. If you can see that, and some tapes that go along with them. I have, Blaster and Soundwave. Those are my boys, and and also I have a weird thing of getting collaborative Transformers, as we have seen in the past with the other stuff that I'd already gotten. Definitely want the Rockstar Blaster. Yeah. I'm gonna see about getting this. So there we go. As I scroll through the pictures, there's the box, there's the back of the box, and next up,
Todd McFarlane puts foot in mouth about female action figures. So basically, Todd took part in an interview with popular action figure reviewer and YouTube personality Shartimus Prime on his channel. While they covered a variety of subjects, there apparently Todd McFarlane, in short, said that he would not put a whole wave of female action figures in one wave at retail in the boys figure aisle, but he also tells a horribly long story about a boy receiving a female action figure and being incredibly disappointed. Yikes. I'm like, wait a second, yo. You do realize most of these collectors who are buying these figures are no longer little kids, and you can pick and choose little kids line as opposed to collectors lines. Because if you hadn't noticed, or at least amongst your competitors, some of the most highly sought after figures are the female figures,
right?
So.
And not mostly male as it used to be, also.
Right.
That, so, just that's dumb. So, and that whole during the story there was like, well, so what? That's one kid one time and probably a long time ago. So that just things have changed. Anyway, next up, speaking of figures, girls just want to have San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cyndi Lauper WWE action figures. Yeah, you heard that right. So Mattel Creations has announced an exciting San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which brings musical superstar Cyndi Lauper into the WWE action figure line. And if you're a wrestling head, you know where this is going, because celebrated in the 1980s rock and wrestling era, the WWE Elite 3-pack also includes Roddy Piper and Captain Lou Albano. If you're watching the video version, you can see the figures right there of all three of them together in the box, which is shaped like a TV. And there's some more pictures right there. Captain Lou has the trademark rubber bands in his thing, in his beard, and
I think that's an actually good likeness of Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, not bad. I was about to say this is not She-Bop era Cyndi Lauper, but
I mean, I don't even. What I was gonna say is, to finish the commentary, I don't think the Roddy Piper likeness is all that good, to be honest, with the sculpt. But that just could be that could just be the lighting of this particular photo.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, there's the box. Let's see. It is the action figure 3-pack specifically commemorates Lauper's iconic appearance on Piper's Pit, an interview section hosted by Piper, which ran from 84 to 87. Wrestling heads noticed. Well, this is exclusive, so there's not gonna be a price on this. So there you go. If you're interested in that, therein lies that. Next up,
Lego announces a fancy, playable, space-themed pinball machine set. You'll have to provide your own sci-fi noises, though. Let's see here.
guaranteed to be a lot of pieces in this.
It will retail for $230. Yeah, this is, like a functioning pinball machine.
Apparently, yeah. Doesn't say how many pieces in this yet, though. But
No, it doesn't.
Like I said,
All right, you can get the set via the Lego Insiders program on July 1st or in stores on July 4th. Okay.
Guaranteed to be probably upwards of 1,000 or more, easily. But yeah, that's actually kind of cool looking. I'm still debating that Game Boy and the Soundwave one, but Huntrix and Saja Boys release limited edition K-pop Demon Hunters cereals. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch for the Saja Boys and Lucky Charms for the K-pop Demon Hunters, respectively. And apparently they are different flavors. So the limited edition Huntrix Peach Mango Lucky Charms box, folks will be able to get that exclusively on Walmart.com beginning August 21st. Excuse me. The Saja Boys secret flavor Cinnamon Toast Crunch, however, apparently that's returning. So I guess that was already in the stores at one point. Wait, he says here, meanwhile, the returning Saja Boys secret flavor Cinnamon Toast Crunch keeps fans guessing with every bite. It's dramatic, unexpected, but apparently, let's see. Here we go. They will be available at Walmart beginning June 29th, and then retailers nationwide starting July 20th. So Walmart's got a timed exclusive for both of these. So if that is something of interest to you, have at it. Last but not least, I'll take those because you probably don't see that one. Jim Lee's Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman variants for San Diego Comic-Con in the variant cover section. Let's see, Jim Lee has released penciled original artwork, and Scott Williams the inked versions for the San Diego Comic-Con retailer exclusive variant editions of Absolute Batman number 22, Absolute Superman number 21, and Absolute Wonder Woman number 22. Let's see. So yeah, Lee says that Absolute Trinity pencils for retailer variant covers for those mentioned books only at San Diego Comic-Con, July 23rd to 26th. For inks, check out Scott Williams at inks at Oxford Inks, and the colors at Sin Color. More details to come. I guess he must have said that on Twitter. And if, you can see the penciled work here on this article if you're interested in that, and going to be at I do like that Wonder Woman. That's kind of smooth. So yeah, that's going to be San Diego. So there you go. And you can see there's what booth that he's going to be in at San Diego for this year. There you go. And that's it, folks. That is it for the news section. Can we get one last ad read?
Our last ad read for this episode: keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment. It helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. And remember, if you shop at Amazon often, bookmark the link or add it as your homepage so that you can help the CSPN each time you order. We thank you for your support. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
Alrighty, folks, that is it for the show. I have a question for Agent 70 because it's actually pertinent to next week's show, or whether he knows or not, or knows at this point. But next week, Supergirl comes out.
Oh, nice.
which okay, there's a question that that I had for him.
Yeah, I do not have tickets yet, so we're gonna have to figure out something over the next several days about arranging how we engage with Movie Protocol.
Yeah, so we might be on Movie Protocol next week for that. Stay tuned to our social medias for whether that's when and or that's going to happen. I actually need to ask the wife to see if she actually wants to go or not. I know there were some fan screenings for this also, but I don't.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a crazy time, and yes, I believe there are some pre-fan screenings also for this. So I think like Amazon Prime related. So
yes. I believe, but I saw that I think it's like a 7:00 show one night. I think like Monday or Tuesday or something like that from the news. So
Right.
like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that. But regardless, folks, we will let folks know what will happen on the social medias, which as follows. You can find me, Roddykat, on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at News Nurse Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. You can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network, CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page, but also recording every Thursday night, 9:30 / more past 10 o'clock. On youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts. That definitely helps people find our show. And hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that, smash that like button, especially on Twitch and YouTube.
And with that, folks, we're out of here. So we will definitely be back next week, but it might not be on Thursday as Movie Protocol may or may not be in effect. Until then, this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One.
Most over, y'all. Sugar. I really stand. Lights out.
Good evening, Red. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?